The silent founder. She's dead. Director Cole's voice cracked through the open-plan floor like a whip. You've got 1 hour to pack, Marcus. Make it quick. The entire office froze. Keyboards fell silent. Even the intern stopped mid-sentence, fingers hovering above keys as if the air itself had turned solid. 20 pairs of eyes lifted slowly. They pretended not to stare, but I felt every single one of them burning into the side of my face. I just nodded once. Understood. I slid my half-finished coffee to the side with the back of my knuckles, calm, deliberate. Cole leaned against my desk, arms crossed, lips curled into that syrup-sweet, venomous smirk she'd perfected over the last 3 years. You always were too soft to survive this world, Marcus. The word survive hung between us like smoke. I looked up at her slowly, really looked. Not the quick glance she was used to. The kind of look that sees straight through the expensive blazer and the boardroom polished down to the scared, hollow thing underneath. May I ask the grounds for dismissal? I asked, voice low, almost polite. You'll get the email, she shrugged, already turning away. HR is busy. Just go quietly. Okay. I opened the drawer. My fountain pen. My black leather folio. 3 worn notebooks filled with ideas no one else ever believed in. But I left the key. The small titanium fob no one knew existed. The one that still opened doors they thought I'd been locked out of forever. Whispers followed me to the elevator like a low tide. No one spoke up. Not Mason, who I once covered 3 months of rent when his wife was in the hospital. Not Priya, who I mentored through her first product launch. Not a single soul. And in that moment I understood something final and cold. They weren't just afraid of Cole. They were afraid of what it would cost them to choose the truth. Cole had no idea who I really was. But tomorrow morning, she would learn. I didn't go home. 2 blocks away, in a nondescript building with no signage, I unlocked the private office no one at Ellison & Gray even knew existed. 14 months. 14 months of quiet, patient, surgical collection. Every email she had me sign under duress. Every contract backdated. Every transaction she ran through shell accounts using my old credentials. Every forged signature when I was sitting beside my mother's hospital bed. I wasn't just a mid-level project manager who'd been managed out. I was the co-founder. The seed capital. The original code architect. The man who wrote the first 47,000 lines while living on instant noodles and 3 hours of sleep. The man Brandon Kane, my oldest friend, had buried under layers of stock dilution, performance reviews, and carefully worded lies. I pulled up the internal security feed. Right on schedule, Cole had already instructed HR to classify the termination as gross misconduct. No severance. No appeal. No trail of liability. Clever. But not clever enough. I opened the folder titled Project Cole's Collapse. Hit send. Recipients, my attorney, 2 board members who'd already been quietly asking questions, and a secure archive that timestamped everything. Then I triggered the shareholders' emergency meeting request under Clause 3.17 of the original operating agreement, the one Cole herself had signed without ever reading the fine print. Founder emergency override. By the time the sun came up, her keycard would be dead. 9:07 a.m. the next morning. I walked through the lobby in a charcoal 3-piece suit I hadn't worn in 3 years. No one recognized me. Not the receptionist. Not the security guards. Not the interns who'd watched me pack the day before. I passed Cole in the corridor. She was strutting out of the elevator, latte in one hand, phone in the other, smirk locked and loaded. She saw me. Blinked. Paused. Marcus. Her voice cracked on the second syllable. I gave her the smallest, calmest smile. You might want to cancel your 10 a.m. status update. Before she could answer, Richard Vance, former U.S. attorney, current board member, stepped out from the side conference room like a guillotine blade dropping. Ms. Cole. You'll need to surrender all company-issued devices. Effective immediately, your directorship is suspended pending full review. Her mouth opened. No sound. On what grounds, she finally managed. Richard nodded toward me. Marcus triggered clause 3.17. Founder override. We've seen the documents. I stepped into the elevator and pressed the top floor. Behind me, Cole screamed something unintelligible. The doors closed. The executive suite was glass, steel, and silence. My silence. I walked the corridor I had once paced at 3 a.m. dreaming of what this company could become. Behind the frosted glass of the corner office stood Brandon Kane. My former best friend. My first co-founder. The man who traded loyalty for a bigger title and a fatter bonus. He looked up. Mid-sentence with the CFO. Face drained of color. Marcus. I tossed the leather folio onto his desk. It landed with a soft, final thud. Inside, emails, forged signatures, timestamps, and one video. Brandon and Cole laughing over drinks, toasting to finally getting rid of the ghost. He stared at the folder like it might bite. Is this a joke? Check the timestamps, I said quietly. You filed forged documents the week of my mother's funeral. The week I was sitting vigil beside her bed. You knew exactly what day it was, Brandon. His hand started shaking. I leaned in. You signed your entire future away for a temporary promotion. Richard Vance stepped in behind me. Mr. Kane. Security will escort you out. As Brandon stood, eyes hollow, I whispered the last thing he would ever hear from me as a friend. I would have given you everything. You took it anyway. He was gone. The CFO slipped out without a word. I sat in his chair, my chair, and opened the bottom drawer. And that's when I found it. A thin blue folder. No label. Thick, expensive paper. Resignation letters. 6 department heads. All dated tomorrow. Generous exit packages. Stock transfers. A coordinated mass exodus designed to get the company the morning after I took it back. Not to hurt me. To destroy it. So that nothing would be left for me to rebuild. My heart slammed against my ribs. This wasn't betrayal anymore. This was war. I pressed the intercom. Richard. Get me Ava Tran and Daniel Holloway. Emergency session. Now. I still had one card left. Not legal. Not financial. Personal. A secret from Berlin, 10 years ago. One night. One decision. One bribe. $3.2 million rerouted through a cousin's shell company to kill a merger that would have made us untouchable. Brandon thought I'd forgotten. I never forget. The boardroom was a tomb. 12 seats. 12 faces. Absolute silence. I placed the envelope in the center of the table. Before we proceed, I said, I'd like to revisit a decision made 10 years ago in Berlin. Brandon shifted. Just once. But I saw the panic flash behind his eyes. I continued. I've retrieved the internal emails. Witness statements. Names redacted, for now. But they confirm what I remember. I looked straight at him. Brandon. Would you like to explain why you accepted a $3.2 million bribe from Ortel Systems to kill our merger, and then lied to the government about it in 2017? His voice cracked like dry wood. That's a lie. I smiled, gentle and terrible. You're right. It was a lie. The same lie you told when the quiet inquiry came. The one you settled using company shares you had no authority to touch. Ava Tran, quiet, lethal Ava, turned to him. You dragged this company through hell, she said, voice low and final. And you thought we wouldn't find out. I stood. Brandon Whitmore Kane. As of this moment, you are suspended from all roles pending criminal proceedings. He stood too. Defiant. Until the security guards stepped through the door. You can't do this. I met his eyes one last time. I just did. The chair was still spinning when the door slammed. I turned to the board. We've all made compromises, I said. But some lines should never be crossed. I opened the second folder. Thinner. Personal. I founded Ellison and Gray when I was 28, I told them. What most of you don't know is that I built it on a promise I made to my brother. A soldier who never came home. He believed in doing the right thing, even when it costs you everything. I laid the folder in front of Ava. In 2 weeks we begin restructuring. New ethics protocols. Independent oversight. No more golden parachutes for corruption. She looked at me. Then nodded. I'll stand by that. 2 others followed. But Dylan Roth, VP of Strategy, didn't move. He just stared at the CCTV still in the folder. Him. Brandon. A manila envelope changing hands 3 years ago. I met his eyes. You're next. Don't run. That evening, my phone lit up. One message. Blocked number. You really think this is over, Marcus? I stared at the words. The cursor blinked. I walked to the balcony. City lights blurred below. I wasn't afraid. I was ready. The next morning at 10 o'clock sharp, the executive floor elevator doors opened. Journalists flooded out. Cameras. Microphones. Flashing lights. Ava Tran stepped forward, calm as winter. I'd like to make a statement on behalf of our founder, Marcus Ellison. Today we are releasing a full internal audit exposing 3 years of embezzlement, abuse of power, and conspiracy by former executives Brandon Kane and his associates. This company belongs to the people who built it, not the ones who tried to bleed it dry. The press room erupted. Brandon would see it. Dylan would see it. Every single person who thought I was just a quiet man collecting paychecks would see it. They underestimated silence. And silence is where the sharpest revenge grows roots. Later that night, a single message from Ava. 4 words. It's done. We're clean. I leaned back in the dark. For the first time in years, the weight lifted. And the peace that settled wasn't fragile. It was earned.